OblivioN, ad Magnificum Volumina. Written by Mr. Jordan G. Farrell. Narrated by Mary Keck. Chapter 1. Arrival. Forsyth awoke as the transparent titanium coverlid slid open. He couldn't move, however. Around him were low-intensity lights dimly illuminating the cabin, and a voice repeating the same ominous message. "Attention! Attention! Collision in 2 minutes, 31 seconds. A pause, then. "Attention! Attention! Collision in 2 minutes, 29 seconds. In his mental fog of post-cryogenic stasis, he struggled to recall where he was. There were red and yellow lights flashing in his peripheral vision. Straight on, he could see only but a clouded view of the world ahead. It was only in his periphery that clarity resided. He blinked once. Pain. He blinked again. Less pain. A third time, even less pain, and then more clarity. He closed his eyes for a good minute, at least he thought it was a minute, and opened them. Clear as crystal. "Phew," he said aloud and sighed in relief. "Damn that alarm. Wish someone would shut the damn thing off." He yelled aloud to an audience that wasn't there but inside his own head. Pain shot through his entire body, which kept him still and stiff. He managed to begin his struggle to rise from the cryo-bed, his joints and muscles stiff as if they were dead for 100 years, or like the worst hangover anyone ever had. "Is anyone out there?" he yelled out, not realizing that there was no one to hear him, still disoriented and confused. He was alone in an automated ship? Damned if he could remember. Short-term memory always took a while to get back up to speed after coming out of cryogenic stasis. It would return in a few hours, or sooner, he thought. Managing to get all the way out of bed and standing, he desperately tried to remember where the hell the cockpit was, or bridge, or whatever they call the place where you steered the damn thing. At least the gravity was working. Otherwise he'd be floating around like a fish without a tail. A really long fish. "Attention! Attention! Collision in 1 minute 19 seconds. The voice was female and rather soothing. He figured in his haze all the shrinks back home figured out that nobody worked well when they were in panicked insanity. History. So he surmised they used these artificial voices to sound like motherly women, because of the nurturing way they communicate to helpless infants. Well, that's just great. Someone who's not even here to tell me I'm going to die in 1.5 minutes. Hey, but at least I'll be comforted by a soothing voice, as I explode in fire and freeze at the same time, instantaneously." Sarcasm. He loved sarcasm. The genius's best communicative friend. "Attention! Attention! Collision in 1 minute 13 seconds. "Whatever!" he exclaimed. "You're saying it like you're trying to cradle me to sleep isn't helping. You're an automated ship. Why the hell do you need me to dodge a simple rock?" Nothing made sense. He was exasperated with it, but in a way that blew off the necessary steam to begin to function well and focus on getting to the controls that, regardless of his mind's scrambled perception, beckoned him to hold on to them for dear life. Forsyth managed to stumble around the corner, through an open door to the front of the ship. It was all coming back to him, at least knowing how to fly the ship anyway. He maneuvered to his seat and called out, "View screen on." And in front of his eyes was a sight he never in his life could have imagined. Directly in front of him, or at least in front of the ship and heading towards him, was the asteroid the ship woke him for to be avoided before it smashed him into smithereens. But behind the asteroid was a massive blue world that took up most of the field of vision on the view screen. All but the bottom right corner of the screen was blue, barely, it being so dark it was hardly light blue, but a deep, deep cobalt blue, as if looking up at the sun from a mile down in the ocean. Barely any light was visible. "Beautiful," he gasped. Visible were periodic lightning strokes across the atmosphere, and he realized then that the sun was behind him, and so distant it was nothing more than a bright star against the background of other stars, barely casting enough light to see the massiveness of Neptune before him. In the bottom right-hand corner of the view screen, which had a resolution far clearer than real life, was a black field of stars and another round body, and on its surface, and quite wrongly
Sample complete. Ready to continue?